Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Your friendly neighborhood Coach Pruitt here with you once again with our daily YouTube video. This is going to be for class on Thursday and Friday, February the 4th and the 5th, 2021. You can see on the screen that I have for you guys your daily schedule. This is what we put in the chat at the beginning of class each and every day. It's the essential question, it's the schedule for the day, any important announcements, and then any links or other websites or programs or apps that you might need for class that day. So last time that we were together, we took our test over unit number 4. We are still getting some of the data from that. We are still looking at the grades for that. We will talk about it some at the beginning of class today, but the focus of class is going to be our start of unit number 5. So unit number 5 is kind of like an in-betweener unit. We haven't quite gotten to the Roaring Twenties and World War I, if you have me for world history. So what we're looking at are standards number 11, 12, and 13. So we're talking about the growth of industry, the growth of big business, the Industrial Revolution, so on and so on. So that's our standard for today. So our essential question for today, what was the Industrial Revolution? You should hopefully remember a good bit about the Industrial Revolution from world history last year. You definitely talked about the beginning of machine usage instead of human or animal power or muscle to do anything. And how factories led to urbanization, increased populations, all sorts of things. And we'll remind you of those as we get started on the unit and throughout the unit today as well. So you can see our schedule for class. We're going to discuss your test grades from Unit 4 very quickly, very briefly. Again, we're still getting some of the data. There are still people who either were missing and haven't taken it or were in class but have not submitted, which is a little concerning because we told you guys to make sure you submitted that same day. We'll remind you of that, and we'll try to give you some time at some point to work on that. And then we're going to go over our new content, the new stuff for unit number 5. I'll be doing that in our daily video today as well, just in case you miss, or if you need reminders later. And then we're going to start working on a collaborative children's-style ABC book, which will count as our key terms for the unit. Before we get into any of the content for today, a couple of important announcements. Please remember that your unit number 4 task work is due by Friday at midnight. Now, there have been some people who have sent a few assignments. There have been some people who have fully submitted their assignments. Either is fine. As long as Mr. Burrows and or I have your assignments before midnight on Friday, you are good to go. If we receive them after midnight on Friday, that means that you're going to start losing points because they are late. We did 80%, 85% of the assignments in class together. So it shouldn't be that hard to turn these things in and turn them in completed and on time. We also gave you guys multiple work days throughout the unit to get stuff done and together as well. Second announcement, and I need to check more into this because it was just posted on our schedule the other day. Allegedly, the 12th, which is next Friday, is an early release day. We will obviously check into that, and as soon as we know anything about it, know the schedule, we'll let you guys know as well. And then Monday the 15th, we have no school. We are out for a holiday, which is fantastic. So no Zooms that day. Nobody comes to campus that day. Everybody's off for a midwinter break, I believe is the technical term. So first thing I want to do is go to look at the new unit stuff and remind you guys of where to find everything. Okay, so if you go to your Canvas page, the first thing I want to point out to you all is in the second section, the U.S. History Module section, this blue button that says Tools and Resources. I know I've done this multiple times over the last couple weeks, but just as a reminder, we have here a link to the Georgia Standards of Excellence, the standards that we use. And then you can see we have our Unit 5 resources. So again, we have a Google Slides presentation/notes. If you click on that link, it will pull up all of the Google Slides that Mr. Burrows and I have found, created, borrowed from other people, and you can see that they are titled based on what they're about from our standards in this unit. You can use those at any time to learn content, find content, review for your test in several weeks, whatever the case may be. In addition, we have a link to the Unit number 5 playlist, which is on YouTube. We have just started building that, so there's not that many videos right now.
Hi, I'm John Green. This is Crash Course U.S. History, and today...
Excuse me, Dr.
Hi,
Green.
I'm John Green.
Thank you. So you can click and go there. You can see there are a few videos over here that you can look at. Again, we'll be adding to this throughout the unit, and as we give you guys video clips to watch or suggest that you watch at the end of classes or for learning content, they will be in here as well. We also have some guided notes for unit number 5. Guys, if you click on the guided notes, they are notes that I have typed up for you. You can see here, look, these are your notes, okay? And they break down each of the standards. They break them down into little sections. There are also some practice questions, former EOC questions, or questions very similar to things you would see on the EOC. Feel free to look at this and check this out. Guys, anytime you're working independently and we ask you to go do something, these guided notes are a resource. You can use them. So if Mr. Burrows and I give you time at the end of class and say, hey, we want you to work for the next 25 minutes on this organizer or this assignment or this project, you can use the guided notes to help you. We also have a link to all the PowerPoints that we will be using in this unit, so standard 11, 12, and 13. Again, if you click this little magnifying glass button, it will pull up a preview on the screen. And we also have a study guide for unit number 5. This is already posted. It will be here throughout the unit in case you guys want to use it or work on it. Use it towards the end of the unit when we get ready for our test. Okay. Next thing is to look at our unit number 5 module. And so if you go to U.S. History Module section and click on unit number 5, it's going to take you into our unit 5 module. If Canvas will load. There we go. It should automatically take us. There we go. Okay. So we have the task work that we always have and look at, and then you can see all of the assignments that we have for the unit are listed here. All right. So I'm going to click on the task work sheet. I'm going to pull it up on my screen, and we'll just talk very briefly about it. So unit number 5, the Industrial Revolution. That's what we've titled this unit. You can see that it is standards 11, 12, and 13. So standard number 11, we're going to examine the connections between the rise of big business, the growth of labor unions, and technological innovations. So we're looking at things like railroads, steel and oil industries, John Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, key inventions that are going to affect the U.S. and the U.S. infrastructure, and immigration. People coming from Europe to the Americas, people coming from Asia to the Americas, how they were treated, what kind of jobs that they did. All right, and then also with big business, we see the growth of labor unions. Standard 12, we're going to look at the Trans-Continental Railroad, Native Americans, and what's going on with those groups throughout the western part. Remember, most of the tribes on the eastern part of the U.S. we've already seen interactions with. Think about the Trail of Tears with Andrew Jackson. Now the U.S. is expanding, and as more and more settlers are coming to the middle of the country, we now are going to see some interactions with those native groups. And then lastly, we're going to look at something called the Progressive Era, which is an era like 1870 to about 1910, where there are going to be a lot of social and political changes throughout the United States. So we'll look at something called muckraking. We will actually have an activity over that. We'll talk about Plessy versus Ferguson and Jim Crow and how segregation is going to expand in the southern states, but not just the southern states. And talk about, just what's going on in society in the Americas during this era. So, very last thing in this video is just to very quickly look at our task work activities for the unit. So today we're going to get started on this activity, and I'll have a second video for that. But instead of making you guys do key terms where you define each and every key term and do your pictures and all that, we instead are going to make a children's style collaborative ABC book. You will have one single letter that you are responsible for, and then your other classmates will have the other letters. There will be a video that I will record that covers this. This is what we will be working on today in class. You can see that we have a mapping activity. Now again, still haven't figured out a good way to do interactive maps. So what we're going to do instead, I have another, sort of like we did before Thanksgiving break, that asynchronous independent workday, right? So what we want you guys to do is use this website, and you're going to, for each part of the Trans-Continental Railroad, there are 2, you'll write down 5 to 7 facts, so that's a total of 10 to 14 facts. You'll also then watch this video clip about the Trans-Continental Railroad and record 3 to 5 facts. You can just list those on a piece of paper, you can just list those on a Word document, whatever you need to do. We are going to go over some progressive era movements and complete a chart over those. We're going to create a graphic organizer about Thomas Edison and his inventions. We're going to create a bubble diagram and talk about the specifics of Jim Crow and Jim Crow laws in the South. And then we're going to talk about a book called The Jungle. We're going to read a couple of passages from that and complete a graphic organizer. In addition, in this unit, we will be creating two things. You are going to create your own political cartoon about big business from the 20th century. There will be a video that day, and I'll, of course, give you guys instructions. And then we also are going to do a muckraking journal. So we need to continue to practice our writing. So you can see, instead of doing any what-if scenarios, this time we're going to do a muckraking journal. It's about 3/4 of a page total, maybe a little more than that. But minimum of 3/4 of a page, and I will get to this and cover this with you, of course, when we get there in class. Today, I just wanted to overview all of the things that are part of your task work. And guys, I don't know if you've noticed this. Anytime there are these little asterisks after the instructions, that means we're doing it in class together. So I actually need to add it. Well, I can't add it now. It's too late. All of these assignments we're going to do in class together, or you're going to have in-class time to do them. So the muckraking article will take probably 2 days to do it. So there's no reason why, again, at the end of Unit 5, task work isn't 100% completed, 100% turned in, and a very high grade achieved. So just to wrap everything up, remember that today is the start of our brand new unit. And again, in this unit, we're talking about the Industrial Revolution. We today are going to go over your test grades. We're going to go over the new unit stuff, the standards and the task work, which I just did, and then we'll get started on your key terms ABC book. Have a great rest of your day, guys. There will be another video coming about the ABC book instructions. We love you. We'll see you next time.